How's it going, everybody? As you can tell, this is our Black Monday special. We're going to be discussing some coaching moves, some possible coaching moves. We'll discuss some of the possible hirings, who should go where, who shouldn't be there. And you can, my co-host here today is Buff Curry. That's Mr. Anthony Turner here.
What's going on? NFL Edition, how's it going, Johnny?
How's it going, man?
It's all right. This is what I call the may I see your application, please? This is the LinkedIn Monster.com day. This is look, is Subway hiring? Chuck E. Cheese is look, this is the who got a job day. Because
And who ain't got a job
and
day?
who ain't got a job, boy, oh boy.
And speaking of that, let's start off with that. We'll
Yes.
go through this list here and we'll discuss some of these people. First one, Cliff Kingsbury. I bring him up first because uh, Kime retired or left the building,
Yeah.
and that leaves a GM and a coaching vacancy open. Um, Now, of course, the first person that comes to mind when you think of that is Sean Payton, and
Yeah.
he's out there. I have this as, let me see where I got him written down at. Sean Payton, Cardinals, Chargers, Rams, Cowboys, Denver. I actually have him, the Cardinals fourth in that order
Hmm.
because everybody says Cowboys and we don't know what the Cowboys are going to do right now, so I can't really discuss them. Although the Chargers is my number one pick for Peyton because he lives right there. It's right there, and I'm pretty sure they're going to want to rehire somebody. The talk's already been out that the Chargers head coach, I can't remember his name,
Yeah, I
but
know who you mean.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's on the outs right now. So we'll see. We've got to wait until they're out of the playoffs before anything happens with that.
Right. That would actually be pretty poetic because for people out there who aren't familiar with Drew Brees, he was not drafted by the Saints. Just to let everybody know, his first few years, he
Was
was with
Chargers.
the San Diego Chargers. And it wasn't that he wasn't good. He actually put up really good numbers. Drew Brees got injured,
Yep.
and that's when Philip Rivers was drafted and traded over to them. And um, sending him over to the Saints, that lit a fire under Drew Brees, and he happened to be with Sean Payton. So that would be poetic for Sean to go to the LA Chargers and put Herbert on another level
Yeah,
because
that's a good story right there, isn't it?
that is an amazing story.
Now,
Just
will the Chargers give up all that power to him? That's the question in that.
I think you
Same with
should.
Denver. Yeah,
He has his resume speaks for himself. This guy, again, he was successful even when Breeze was not in. When you had the Teddy Bridgewaters and the Taysom Hills, um, this guy just knows how to find people
I
in
think they had
offensively.
the Saints had 17 or 16 years without a losing season with him. So, however long it was,
Yeah,
maybe
I think it was like 10, but you
no,
get I
no,
get
it
you.
was over 10. It was well over 10. It was like
Well, the
16. It might have been 12 actually. I
Yeah, I
don't
was
know.
gonna say because the only coach that has 16 is of course Mike Tomlin. He is the only head coach current right now without a losing season, and that's been 16 seasons. But
Current right now. I'm glad you said that because Belichick would have been in that
right,
discussion.
currently, but yeah, no, Sean Payton had done a lot for New Orleans. As we know, he's royalty there. There's nothing he can do that's wrong. So I do think that would actually be really good because then they could utilize um Mike Williams some more and uh,
Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen. So they would know how to use the offense a lot better because he's a great offensive minded person. I can't stand his ass because he was our foe. But if he were
Right.
to be like, I'd come to Tampa, it would hurt for a second, but I'd welcome him with
It would
open
take me a
arms.
long time to pull that
Me
Band-Aid off.
too, but look,
It would take me a long
but
time.
look, put it this way: he comes here with the weapons we have. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bucks go like 8-0 next season just because to start out that way because of how he would utilize. One thing that Sean knew, he just knows how to utilize his offensive guys. And he knew certain plays to get you to throw teams off, and he frustrated the hell out of you. Just imagine this. Can you imagine if Sean Payton had Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and had a competent quarterback? he's the kind of guy where you can give Sean Payton an average quarterback, but with weapons around, your team is winning at least 11 games. He gets an elite quarterback, 14 to 15 games.
Having some technical issues here.
No, take your time. Take your time. But back to what you were saying about the Cardinals coach, it's not a surprise. He
He isn't, but Keim was kind of a surprise. But
mhm,
then again, his health was really bad. So
right. And the Cardinals coach, he just you know who he kind of reminded me of? Dirk Cutter. Just because you had a decent amount of talent, but you allowed the locker room or your certain players run amok. Like the whole Kyle Murray situation was a mess. That was a big mess, and you didn't utilize your team well enough. I just when teams do that, when coaches allow that to happen, it's just a matter of time before you're going to be on the outside looking in, and it's time for you to go.
Kyler Murray is kind of the reason that I had Sean Payton there.
Yeah.
Because what's he do? He takes bad quarterbacks and makes them better and stuff. And he will hold people accountable. He might
Yes.
not do it publicly, but he'll do it. He damn sure holds them accountable. And he would put Kyler Murray on the bench in a heartbeat.
Yes.
And Kyler's attitude, he's one that needs. I think Bruce Arians could deal with Kyler Murray.
Yes.
There's very few coaches I see out there that could really deal with Kyler Murray, and I think Peyton's one of them. Arians, Belichick. The Tennessee coach, what's his name?
Vrabel.
Vrabel could deal with his ass. Vrabel just needs a quarterback.
Yes, he does. He really does. He needs a real competent quarterback. But yeah, you're right. Sean Payton, I think you discussed, those kind of coaches make you accountable for your actions, but they also know how to let you know that despite of who you are, you still can be replaced. You're replaceable. And that's why I like Sean Payton, because he won't give a damn. Sean Payton's method, like Arians, like just like what Arians did to Fournette the Super Bowl year. You can stay or you can go. Either way, we're gonna be fine. That's the kind of mentality you have to give a Kyler Murray, because Sean Payton will be like, no, you're gonna be reading these fucking plays. You're gonna be understanding the playbook. Otherwise, I'll find somebody else. So
let me address this comment here. Peyton going to the Broncos. Well, the Broncos are the team that went and reached out to the Saints. They did get permission to talk to talk to Sean, and they worked out some kind of arrangement with the trade there, because Sean Payton's still under contract with the Saints, so he has to be traded and accept an offer accepted.
Yep.
And evidently they have done that with Sean Payton, but I don't really see it going through, because the Broncos also reached out to Jim Harbaugh, who has an interview with them this week. So, and if you talk about team, the team fits either one of them. Yes. Either one of them. Sean Payton can run that team, and Jim Harbaugh, that's his technique. That's his style of play. They got the defense. They got a quarterback, I guess. I don't know what's going on with Russell Wilson, but you put Jim Harbaugh in there. Jim goes over to his brother John in Baltimore and says, "Hey, man, can I get Greg Roman from you?" And John says, "Absolutely. Here, take him." You know?
No, that would be interesting.
He'd be rebuilding the 49ers right there.
Yeah, I would say Broncos, Sean Payton, he would be either one. You couldn't miss. But with Harbaugh, first things first, again, he's going to have more insight, since he's been a college coach so long, on who it would be really good with the Broncos, and he would have insight on certain players.
He's definitely got running backs there in Michigan, but I think most of them are committed to staying with the team.
Yeah, but also look at it like this. He's going to be in a position where I told you this would just be an AFC version of the 49ers when Kaepernick was there and they had a defense, a mobile quarterback, good wide receivers, a solid defense, because Denver has a solid defense. A lot of people overlook that. They have a very solid defense, good weapons on offense. Russell Wilson just got to stop being a damn celebrity and be a football player. And Harbaugh is the right coach to do that. One thing about the Harbaughs, when they believe in you, but they still hold you accountable. He's
Right.
another one. Accountability is really big for the NFL for Harbaugh. So that would actually be nice. Hell, if Bowles got canned, I wouldn't mind Harbaugh coming to Tampa. Can you imagine him with our offense and our defense? We already have a solid defense, but he would make it nastier.
What he would really do is make our special teams awesome.
Yep, that too.
He doesn't have to really do. He just has to bring in a good offensive coordinator that can deal with the offense.
Yep.
And I don't have any doubt that he can find a defensive coordinator. He has had no problem finding defensive
Nope,
coordinators
not
for
at
that
all.
team. So, yeah, I wouldn't mind that, but that's not happening as long as Bruce Arians is upstairs.
Oh, absolutely. That's me. That's wishful thinking. That is
Yeah.
wishful thinking. I just that would be nice. But back to the original thing, yeah. Oh, McVay going to Team Prime.
Yeah, he's going Amazon Prime.
Oh yeah, we know that. Yeah. Make that money. McVay, you got a Super Bowl. You stamped you got a stamp in for the Rams. Go make that money if you leave. Now, if you don't leave and you want to just, let's say, you want to just be a coordinator again or something, the door might be open for Tampa, maybe. Look, I'm sorry. Anybody that's worth a damn, come to Tampa.
Shit. I got bad news for you. The Rams are not a destination anybody's going to want to go to anytime soon. You got everything's tied up in your free agents. You don't have any draft picks, so nobody's going to come in there and be able to draft the team they want.
Nope.
So I don't. If you lose McVay, I'm sure you'll get a coach, but it probably won't be a coach that you're looking top at.
No, you're right, and the Rams would have to be realistic that whatever coach you get, you'd have to at least give them at least 3 years to clean up the mess. You have
to do more than that. I think they're in debt for 2 years.
Right.
So then after the 2 years, he can bring in his draft picks.
Right.
And you'd have to give that a grace period. So you're talking 4 years in.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Well, the reason why I say 3 is because you get through the mess, the first 2 years of the mess, but then that next year, that third year, you see some type of promise and process because the Rams
need to hire you a Lovie Smith, somebody who can be a bridge between the garbage time and then when you can start to actually rebuild. Because fans aren't going to deal with 4 years of losing, but that's what you're looking forward to right now.
Yeah, and that's where if you're going to deal with 4 years of losing, you want it to at least your fans can see that there's 4 years of promise. Like you have to be aware, like, hey guys, we're not going to be. It's like we're going to make it, but not yet. But you can't look like you're going backwards. You cannot always look like you're going backwards. And the Rams still have talent on their roster with Cup and on offense. They still have a decent squad. They're just going to have to be realistic. And the Rams they're not going to be doing anything, like you said, for at least 3 to 4 years. So that's just something that whatever coach does take that position, the owners are going to have to
be aware. They may have enough left over next season to make a showing, but it's not going to be a Super Bowl year.
Oh, no, not at all. I honestly think next season they're still going to be a 9-win team. And that's me saying that's being nice.
Yeah.
That's being nice. 9 wins. I'm trying to give them that, but realistically,
you got to break that team down. That's a Super Bowl team. Now they're going to lose pieces to that team.
Exactly. Because somebody's going to lose.
I'll give them between 9 and 11 wins because they still have the talent there.
Well, yeah, injuries killed them this year.
Yeah. Despite who is coaching, maybe Raheem Morris gets the head coach job.
Well, I think they said Denver was looking at him as a coordinator.
No, Denver's not looking at any. Here's Denver's right now. Let me look it down here.
I thought they said Raheem was
okay. Denver could be looking at him.
For a defensive coordinator position, though.
Yeah, because they got rid of Joe Woods.
Yeah, that wouldn't
no, that was Browns. Browns got rid of Joe Woods.
Yeah, but Raheem wouldn't be bad. I'll say this.
I don't see Raheem taking a coordinator job.
Oh, you think he's going to go for it all? He would want to be
He's a defensive coordinator right now. He has played offensive coordinator with Atlanta, He's done the coordinators crap. It's either give me a head coach job or I'll just stay where the hell I'm at.
This is true. I think if you do give him a shot, uh, they would have to be realistic with him too. See, we're in the era now, like right now, any coaches who take over any of these certain teams, you cannot expect. You're gonna have to expect a 2 to 4 year process of rebuilding or getting yourself together. I know this is a win now kind of era, but we have to be in a realistic era. None of these teams that you just mentioned, like you said, the Rams, they just got it's a mess.
Scott, I'm going to tell you something about Raheem Morris. Everywhere he's went, he's made the position group that he was coaching better.
Yes, he
Every
is.
place he went, and, and he had a 10-win season with the Bucks. He
With,
just missed
with
the playoffs with us
with loose
as
talent
a head coach, interim head coach.
and
So,
yeah, you're right. And
so
mind you, Scott, when Raheem did lose out on that season, he lost out on a bad technical call against Detroit. Kellen Winslow scored a touchdown, and they called it in a
oh, you said his name.
oh
Oh.
yeah,
Granny diapers, man. Come on.
that guy, that crazy guy. Again, if the Bucks go to the playoffs, we don't know what Raheem could have done in that playoffs. That could have literally changed the entire history of Tampa. Because what if he gets them to an NFC title and he can keep Josh Freeman nose clean? No pun intended. Well, all pun intended. He
If he
could have
quit
kept.
partying with Josh, it would have been fine. You know,
Yeah,
he's grown up since then. I
right,
mean,
right, and that's what I'm saying. Uh, I would give Raheem a shot. He does deserve another shot because you said it. Everywhere he's gone, the team statistically has been better for the most part. He's made other
Atlanta,
players better.
Carolina, every friggin' where he's win, whatever position he was coaching, got better. Everyone, including your Rams when he first took over last year. Don't forget that.
Yeah, it's just, and I think for Rams fans out there, I know you guys love Ramsey. He had a good season, but remember, it's just he Ramsey's been exposed. So I think a lot of people are a lot
Ramsey's always been a hit and miss guy.
you're
He either
right. He
knocks
got
it out of the
exposed.
park or he strikes out, one or the other.
Right. So you can't and Aaron Donald, he's getting up there in age as well. And
He's
also,
probably retiring this year.
and his thing was he was never strong against the run. So you guys have to look at it like that. When Von Miller left, that hurts you guys as well. That's what put y'all over the Super Bowl because if Von Miller doesn't play against the Bucks last year, the Bucks beat the Rams
Right.
because that's what was killing us. Von Miller was everywhere, and when Tristan Wirfs went out, that's
That was
sealed the deal. So Rams fans, be patient, trust
Okay,
and believe.
Christopher. Let's get down to some more of these firings.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Of course, we got to talk about Carolina. Oh, the interim head coach. What's his name? I can't
Steve
remember.
Wilkes. Steve Wilkes
Steve
did a hell of.
Steve
He
Wilkes.
did a fantastic
I
job.
think Steve deserves the right, but we've seen this happen year in and year out.
Mm-hmm.
He deserves the right to try it for that head coaching position, but he's probably not going to get it. Okay.
I agree. I do want him there though because the players bought into his system, and can you imagine if he brings his own guys in, they could be legit. Because let's be real, Carolina was a damn mess with Matt Rule. They were
I'll
a
tell you a
mess.
good spot. We were just talking about him.
Mhm.
Raheem Morris would be a good fit there.
In Carolina.
Yeah, he was defensive coordinator there. So
Yeah, I like Raheem. I could like when it comes to Raheem.
I don't want him in our division. I honestly don't,
right,
because he is a good coach.
right. But my thing about him, the only thing that would work against him, I don't know if Raheem would, who would. I don't know if he has enough knowledge to get the right person that would help his offense.
He's been with enough teams. Yeah, he's got that knowledge.
Look,
He knows the people. He knows the players.
Mhm.
He's been involved with college football too. He's not a legit. He's not contractually involved with college football.
Right.
He keeps his nose there. You know,
If he picks the right offensive coordinator,
he knows
to go
everybody.
with it, yeah,
He grew up in this thing.
right. It's just for defensive minded coaches, they have to understand that you have to find
Offense.
Yeah, you have to find the right offensive guy that has the balls to
What
make.
was he? What was he in Atlanta? He was the offensive coordinator.
I thought he was the defensive coordinator in Atlanta.
No, when they fired their offensive coordinator, they made Raheem Morris the offensive
Oh,
coordinator, and then and they got better. Like I said, every position. That's why I specified every position he's coached has been better, and they fell off after he left too.
yeah, well, that's Atlanta in general. They just, I mean, they just always fall. They find a way to fall off. But no, I do like. I hope Steve Wilkes, if he doesn't get the job, um, they put him somewhere else where if he has to be a coordinator, you make sure he's a highly compensated coordinator. You pay him like a damn coach.
I got to ask, Christopher Cole, is that because of their reputation or is that because of their team? Because if it's because of their team, the Texans are a destination right now for a coach. That's a good team they got there, and they're primed with some good draft picks coming up. Look where they're picking. They're picking
I
second in the draft.
Christopher, I think you're mentioning the reputation, and I
Yeah,
do agree. Their reputation is shit, and they have been a really piss poor organization. The GM should be just as held as responsible. Even with the Deshaun Watson situation, they handled that poorly. We're not condoning his actions or whatever. We're just talking about the simple fact that when he asked for certain things, they were beating around the bush and bullshitting, and you throwing away all your players. You give away Hopkins for nothing. JJ Watt doesn't want nothing to do with you. So I understand that the Texans, they really need a full intervention
yeah,
because the owners are really, they're just being piss poor with and it's reflecting on the players, and it's pissing off the fans. Just like with how Lovey was done. Lovey literally had a trash team, like, and they expected him to do everything in 1 year, and that wasn't right. But I do like the fact that he had the final FU because he won that game, and they are the second overall pick instead of the first. They did it to themselves. So yes, you're by reputation. I wouldn't want to go there.
I'd want the second pick anyway.
You think so?
Look through the last 10 years. The second pick has usually been the best pick. Look at last year. The Lions got the cream of the draft last year with what's a damn it with the defensive lineman. I can't remember his damn name. And Alex is going to shoot me for that too.
No, I kind of know who you're talking about. I know who you're talking about. His name escapes me as well, but yeah, it's not. Here's the thing: it's all about how you draft, not when you draft. Some people have hit the jackpot picking 25th overall. You just have to know how to pick in your draft. Drafting is about making sure you scout the right people. I can attest to you. The Bucks drafted Godwin in the 4th round. He was a 4th round guy, and Godwin could start as a number 1 receiver on a couple of teams. It's just you just got to know how to draft. That's all.
Yeah,
You have to know how to draft. But the Texans, if we're going by reputation, I don't blame coaches. I'd be like, I would have to go in there with serious guarantees on my contract where, okay, you got to give me this amount of time. This is who I want. Whatever I request, please do this, and I can get it because Texans do have some talent on their roster. We're not going to say that they're complete sorry. And the AFC South, your biggest threat is the Jaguars. That's it. The Colts are regressing.
Aiden Hutchinson. Jesus, why couldn't I remember his name?
Hutchinson, yeah.
Hutchinson. Yeah, that was he was
No, that
definitely
was an excellent pick.
right there. He might be the rookie of the year, defensive rookie of the year this year too. I know that they were talking about the kid with the Jets, but
Yeah,
he fell off. He fell off, and Aiden Hutchinson's he's even got 3 interceptions. Man, come on.
Yeah, yeah, no, that was a good pick. And Detroit, side note, Detroit, you have my respect. I tip my hat to you because you played your asses off when you didn't have to. You beat and you sat Aaron Rodgers
They
ass.
swept. They swept the Packers this year.
I hope y'all retire. I hope y'all made him retire. That would be icing on the cake.
Yeah.
It's like, dang.
Okay. He's not going to retire, but you saw in his press conference that he he may go to another team, but he don't know, and blah blah blah. He's got to talk to the people.
Yeah, he's just talking out of his ass. Nobody wants to hear that. It's like, look, Detroit, and like you said, they swept them. I don't know. I forgot what their record was going to Lambeau. It's not good, but they made a statement because they didn't lay down. They said, "Oh no, you gonna sit here with us too. You ain't gonna get in the playoffs. We're gonna make sure you suffer with us." And
not only that, they went into this game as the people's favorite.
Yep.
There was 54% on the poll, 54 on the NFL poll.
Yep.
54% picked the Lions to win. And all the announcers picked Green Bay. Like,
yep. And
pay attention to us once in a while, people.
Right. And let's be real. Aaron last night played like his career in a nutshell. He does just enough where you think he got something, but then he doesn't show up in the most important time. Because look, this is the most important game you should be thinking about. It's like you win this, you're in the playoffs, you're in the dance. He didn't do it. Ha, I like that. Lying guys. Yeah, no. Shout out to them, and I hope that they built off of this. I hope next season, at the end of next year, we're talking about shit. Detroit is 11-6 or 12-5, and
I'm pretty sure Dan Campbell's one of my favorite coaches. He just brings him and Mike McDaniels in Miami. That guy, I just love his interviews. I love him. But Dan Campbell and Mike McDaniel both should be up for Coach of the Year.
Agreed. Shit, yeah, that would be whoever wins. I would be fine because they both handled situations very well.
Yeah.
And
don't forget, Miami has that whole bullshit with their owner, Ross, whatever his name is.
No, they like I said, they've gone through a lot, and then the Tua situation, and then how that scandal was happening.
How it is happening because we don't know if Tua should even play again.
I don't think he should play anymore.
3 concussions in 1 year.
I don't think he should.
How are they going to handle that? That's what's next on the list.
He shouldn't play anymore. His body alone can't handle the impact, and every time he gets hit, he falls on the exact same spot. It's like, okay, we don't, because what I'm scared of is one day he's gonna, even a slight bump, he's not gonna be able to recuperate. It's like, Tua, just take the money. You got the money, invest wisely. It's not worth it. You don't want to be fucked up out here.
Scott, save that comment for Thursday's show when Alex is here. Let him rip into you about that one, okay?
Gotcha.
I ain't gonna say nothing about that one, bud.
Woo! That would be interesting. I am not gonna lie. That would be interesting.
Okay, let's who we got. All right, who do we see? Oh, I got the wrong one up. Shit. Okay, Carolina has to replace Phil Snow and Matt Rule. So, and Dean Pease just retired, people. So the Falcons are going to have problems too. But he's not going to save Carolina. Who's going to?
I don't look at this time. I just don't know. When it comes to Carolina, they have pieces, but they're one thing about the NFC South.
I can see Joe Woods going to Carolina as defensive coordinator if they figure out who their head coach is going to be.
Right, and the NFC South is in rebuilding mode. Nothing wrong with that. I like it because the Bucs still got enough pieces to be relevant for a while. But Atlanta needs to rebuild. New Orleans got to rebuild. Carolina got to rebuild. They got to rebuild. And the beautiful thing is the Saints next season, their defense. That's the last year that I'm telling you this now. Next season will be the last season their defense will be solid like that because what's the face? He's getting old. Jordan, he's getting old. These guys are getting old. So the Panthers are still going to rebuild. The Falcons, they're trying to figure out what they have in their offense. I mean, let's see if Kyle Pitts is going to be legit and he can stay healthy. And they got a good runner in Algier, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
They got a good defense if they can keep it together and get a good coordinator to take over.
Yeah,
Dean Pease leaving hurts them. That's a Super Bowl winning defensive coordinator right there with the Ravens.
Yeah, I can't say I'm not happy about it. I'm happy. Get out of here. Like, look, I'm happy about that. Look, again, NFC South is we are literally what the NFC West was a few years back before the Legion of Boom came about. Because remember when the Seahawks were a 7-9 team and they did something in the playoffs, and then all of a sudden, as the years progressed, that they started getting stronger again. So the NFC South is just going through the same. It's like a cycle. Because remember, years ago, the NFC South was a really competitive division.
Yep.
It's not like that now. We're in a downslide.
Yep.
But I'm all right with it because the Bucks still have the pieces to where they can stay solid for 2-3 more years, especially if we have a competent quarterback.
So, all right, Ben. Yeah. Do you give him another year or do you replace him this year?
Give him another year. I give him another year. See what happens. You give him another year. You have to. Again, if they can, let's see how they are with a healthy roster. Let's see what they can do if they go back to the drawing board. Now, I will say this: if they can't win no more than 7 games next season, then we have a problem. Then you let them go.
Yeah, we understand that there's a college game on right now, and we will give updates on it as soon as it gets started. So,
Right. It's who's playing right now?
the Horned Frogs against Georgia for the
Oh,
title game.
oh yeah, TCU in Georgia.
Yeah.
Well, I hope TCU wins. I'm sorry, the Gator in me will never go for Georgia.
Oh, I
I
picked both. I went through every single who's going to get this and just picked the opposite each time.
Now I understand. Yeah, Ben Cornett
Because
said,
after watching TCU beat Michigan,
yeah.
they adapt on the fly pretty well. I kind of my head is leaning TCU, but I got so many Georgia friends, man. I'm trying to pull for them too. You know what I mean?
Hell no, I don't want Georgia to win because now they starting to be like Alabama
You
assholes.
got to be like have 3 sons and let every one of them go to a different Florida
Yeah,
college, and then you'll be like me. You'll be like, it don't matter because it sucks, man. I don't.
yes,
I
man.
have one. I have my alma mater was Colorado. Okay,
Okay.
Buffs. Now that Dion's there, I can finally take my bag off my head and root for him. Okay,
I
so
feel you.
I'm a Buffalo guy, so I'm rooting for the Buffaloes now. Thank
Now
God for Dion.
I feel you. I'm salty just because I'm reminiscing on the Gator days back when we had Chris Leaks and the Tebows and the Newtons, and when we had the Dunlaps and the Spikes. We had a squad. So for years you just knew that the Gators was an elite team back then. So I'm just mad that we are the way we are. Wait, Ben said, why didn't the Cardinals wait over 18 hours to
I
let
can answer that. It's because of Steve Keim's health. They did not know whether he was going to come back as general manager or not. He retired, and since he retired, they decided to go ahead and let Cliff Kingsbury go and let the new GM bring in his own people.
Yeah, and that's a good wide open position.
If Keim would have still been a GM, then Kingsbury may have still had his job. So
Yeah, maybe I give him a small
yeah,
percentage just because
small, very
the
small.
simple fact that how he handled the Kyle Murray situation,
Yep.
that was already embarrassing enough. And then with the NFC West, that division, the Seahawks I think will be competitive. Rams will be competitive. So you have to try to be competitive in that division because the 49ers, as good as these guys are, their window is closing too. A lot of people don't want to admit that, but 49ers championship window is closing as well. Everybody's not going to always stay together. So if you're that's another team that's going to have to think about who they're going to have at their quarterback position, if depending on how they do in the playoffs. But back to the Cardinals, yeah, Kingsbury had to go. We'll see who goes there. Whoever goes there, they're just gonna have to hold Kyle Murray accountable and get this offense going, and we'll see. We will see. But yeah, it's been an interesting day though to see certain people go because I say it like this: certain coaches can go to certain teams and they can change and make good things happen. So we'll see. That's just
Well, we got 2 people that's scheduled for interviews with the Panthers, and that's Jim Caldwell and Steve Wilkes. So
Hmm.
both from in-house. That's all in-house right there. Jim Caldwell was offensive. We know Jim Caldwell's experience. He did really well with the Lions.
Yes, he did.
He had his time with the Colts and stuff. So, which I didn't feel that he deserved to be fired for the Lions job. The Colts job, he was honestly, it wasn't his fault either because that was a team in transition right then.
Yep.
That you just had lost Peyton Manning. You were trying to build a team for
Andrew.
Luck,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just a transition team. So I don't. I like Jim Caldwell. I like him a lot. So
No, I like him too. I just want to give it to Wilkes because when you have a coach that had your team playing like that, that can carry over until next season because now you see what you can work with. You see that this guy believes in you, and you have a lot more things that you can momentum you can carry on from there. So we'll see what happens though. We will see. It's probably going to depend on who he would bring in that will help him.
right, right. Uh, I don't know if they're happy with the way the season ended for Wilkes, although they did win. They beat the Saints on that yesterday. So
Yeah. His only thing is he would have to, if he's going to run that defense, he's going to have to make better decisions because I think the owners they still probably feel some type of way when they played us
you know
because,
how rare it is for a interim head coach. Remember, uh, they didn't even give uh, BA a shout with the Colts when Pagano was there, right?
yeah,
He took over. He got their team to a playoff game, right?
right.
And then afterwards, he didn't get an afterthought. So they just gave it back to Pagano, and Pagano just kept losing. So
Yeah, I mean it happens. We'll see though. You never know. The league, the Panthers might say, let's stop doing the same shit and go against the grain and see what happens. Because sometimes I think the NFL is a copycat league way too much. And it's like when you ask for the same options, you're gonna get the same results. Sometimes go out of the box. That's why Detroit is better. Campbell is unorthodox in certain people's eyes, but it works. You
right,
have to do things different sometimes in order to get different results, and it's going to pay off. So I'm hoping if the Panthers are smart and you want to carry momentum and you don't have to worry about players not trying to play for a coach, you got them right there.
wow.
This team could have folded when they got rid of McCaffrey and all of them. They didn't though. They held their ground, and the coach said, "I got you. Go."
That Ben that Cardinals team. That's going to be a. I'll get to that in a little bit. I'm going to get to the coaching requests that they've requested to talk to. So uh, let's do Broncos right now. Giro Evero, Broncos defensive coordinator, is scheduled to talk to the Broncos. Jim Harbaugh, University of Michigan, is scheduled. Raheem Morris, as I was saying earlier, is requested to talk to the Broncos. Sean Payton, Dan Quinn, Cowboys defensive coordinator, is requested by the Broncos, and D'Amico Ryans, 49ers defensive coordinator.
Hmm,
So out
that's
of them, I still feel that Harbaugh and Payton are the number one and two, and I would put Dan Quinn in there as a three. Although I don't know how excited they could be after that defense looks like it does this year.
yeah.
D'Amico Ryans I'd put D'Amico Ryans above Dan Quinn.
Hmm.
Raheem Morris would probably be my fourth. I don't know, fourth or he's got head coaching experience. He's got coaching experience all over, and he's got the connections. I think I'd put D'Amico Ryans above. I mean, Raheem above D'Amico Ryans, but right neck and neck.
Hmm.
I don't even know much about the defensive coordinator from the Broncos.
Well, just by judging how the defense is looking, I mean, he he deserved a shot. But I'm very hesitant about defensive guys nowadays because you can't be cautious and expect your team to win. You have to risk it. That's why Bowles is the way he is with this team. Bowles plays not to lose instead of playing to win like Arians. Arians was a no
What?
risk.
Wait. You forget about the empty back set that he fucking the empty set that he sent after on fourth and whatever, third and one, a couple of Oh well, a few weeks ago now. It's been a while, but Bowles has got some balls too, man, doing something like
Yeah,
that.
sometimes, but it's like he decides to grow them at the wrong times. I like a guy who has balls, but you have brains as well.
Well,
There are
that was
times,
a successful. I'm talking about the successful one, not the one where they got the touchdown.
yeah, but and that's the thing. But with him, Bowles has got to he has to unleash his offense. There have been too many, like when we played the Browns and he punted instead of letting Brady go for it. You have to believe in your offense to get it done. You can't always rely on the defense, especially if your defense is always on the field. That's you're not being realistic. And I like Bowles sometimes, but other times he holds his defense back by doing certain coverages that doesn't benefit our players. So that's why in the playoffs, I hope the Bucks mix it up, play a lot of man in disguise, and move around Devin. They're gonna have to do things like that. That's what I mean by that. Bowles has got to be more innovative. He has a bend but don't break mentality, which sometimes it can be effective, but it also sometimes puts the Bucks in situations where if the Bucks can just get a quick 3 and out and the offense can get the ball back and score, you could put teams away faster. But that's just me. I like offensive minded guys because they tend to usually have more of the this is what we're gonna do. The hell with that team. Their defensive minded coaches nowadays are just too scared. And I need a guy that can go, hey, the hell with that. I don't care who you are, but we'll see. We'll see. That's just my opinion. But yeah, is there
Texans
mhm,
are interviewing Ichiro Evero from
mhm.
Broncos, Jonathan Gannon, Eagles defensive coordinator. All of the there's only one offensive person on there. Ben Johnson, the Lions offensive coordinator. No, Ben, stay with the Lions, dude. Just
Right, don't go anywhere.
D'Amico Ryans and Shane Steichen, the Eagles offensive coordinator.
Mhm.
Now, all right, the Eagles are doing great.
Yes, they
Is
are.
that offense really scary? It's only scary because of
It's
Jalen
it's
Hurts.
yeah, it's only scary because Hurts improvises, but once you make Hurts a more of a pocket QB and you put pressure on him, no, not at all.
And we're
Not at
talking
all.
about a Texans team that don't have the weapons that Hurts has.
Right.
They do have weapons now. I'm not going to knock them. They do have some weapons, and Damian Pierce is a baller, dude. Straight
Yeah,
up.
but he's not AJ Brown. He's
No.
yeah, I get what you're saying though. Texans, they have potential. You just gotta, it's not even about getting the right guy, it's about if the ownership will be in the right mindset to get the right guy in there. What the
They did hire a new GM after last year. I don't evidently I can't even think of his name. I
Mhm.
don't know if he's a mouthpiece for the ownership,
Yeah.
which has always been an issue with them. They've always had a problem with the ownership. They're the secret um, Dan Snyder's over there. You
Right,
know,
right. And that's the thing. If you don't let your GMs be GMs, you're gonna ruin your team, and you're gonna be in a Dallas situation where it's always gonna be all hype but no productivity, and you, that's where the problem lies. That's why I said we talked about it earlier. The Texans' reputation right now is in the gutter, and if the Texans want to get their head out of their asses, they're gonna have to show accountability, humility, and understand, hey, we're not doing things right. So we need to do right by our GMs, our coaches, and our players, and we got to let them do what's necessary and pick the right guy. Again, if they don't have the right mindset, they're going to continue to always pick the wrong uh, coach.
right?
So Texans owner, get your shit together, please. Get your shit
Let's move
together.
to Tennessee Titans are looking for a general manager, and they've got two people from the 49ers, which to me is the smart thing to do. They got Adam Peters, the assistant general manager to John Lynch, and they
Mhm.
got Ron Carthon, director of player personnel. Either one would be my top pick.
Yeah, I do agree. I can't.
Malik Boyd, senior director of pro personnel for the Bills, is also in there. So I would throw,
Mhm.
yeah, one of those three. It has to be because if they're proven they're proven. They come from proven organizations. They've seen how to do it right.
Yes, and you are right. But you got to be careful about that as well. But I do think they're going to do that because sometimes I think of the New England situation, but it's different because those guys didn't prove themselves. It was Belichick that was the
Right.
man, not the rest of them. But you're right though. Anyone from the
Well,
49ers,
Ozzy trained his assistants in
right?
Baltimore the correct way. He showed them how to do the system and stuff. And these are the guys that are player personnel. They're basically senior scouts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're in the mix. They're always out there in the mix. They see what's going on, and they're the ones that relay the information to the general manager to begin with. So I I, I have no problem with them.
No, I don't either. I think that'll be okay. I When you get good people from good organizations, it can rub off.
Right.
Just like how the Bucks, you got Brady and you bring other pieces in to help. So if you bring the right crowd in, that influences your team.
Now I would not bring in the other people that they have on the list. The Browns assistant general manager, no.
No,
Titans, dude, you're already stuck in a rut where you have all you do is rely on Henry. No.
yes, that's another thing that they can't do. You're wasting Henry's years and his body. And also get more weapons. They need to be drafting two wide receivers, another tight end. They need that and another line that can help. So I'm the Titans
Quarterback that
this
can get them the ball.
yeah, if I'm the Titans this year, your main objective is to get a solid receiver that can help
Get away
take the
from
pressure off.
Tannehill and don't worry. The Malik Willis draft. Come on, man, stop. Malik Willis was not a good quarterback. He was a great runner. If you want to use Malik Willis for something, turn him into a tight end or turn him into a back. You know, but he's not. He doesn't have the arm accuracy. He doesn't. He has a little. No, he doesn't. He can't even throw downfield like Jackson. So
No, well, that's different. For me, I would just say try to build on the weapons, just to help. Of course, you need a quarterback, but I don't think Tennessee is gonna get a quarterback this this draft coming up. So that's why I'm saying at least build have a lot of weapons. So when they can draft a quarterback, they'll be ready. Uh, I do think that the Tennessee Titans are quarterback away from being, you know, a really a contender, but at this
they
point,
got a great defense. They got
yeah,
King Henry, so they got a running game.
yeah.
They need to get the wide receivers out there. And what you did this year, Traylon Burks was a step, but it's only a step. You gotta
Oh
add.
yeah, no. You have to go all out and get pieces. That's what I'm saying. They have to do that. Tennessee, you have to because you
You need a
don't want.
dual threat. If you
Yeah.
got one receiver,
Yep.
and then one running back that you rely on, but you do have backup, but the backup is not Henry.
Right.
Then you're relying on offensive line and defense to win your games, and that's not going to work in a league where people can put up 30 points like that. You know,
Exactly. You need at least two. You need a number one receiver,
you
and
need a
then you
slot
need
receiver, you need a number two, and you need a number one.
right.
That's and then
And
you have Henry. You've got a perfect team.
right.
You've got
And you need that number two receiver to be able to assist your number one when he's doubled.
right.
Like you need that one person to be like, okay, if he's double, I got this. Yes, they do need more pieces, and I would get a lineman in there just to help Henry, because we don't want him to always have to use himself to get those yards. You need one more. They need to get another good lineman to help, at least have depth.
Georgia is currently up 7-0. They've got 90 yards to TCU's 1 yard.
Damn, come on,
So
TCU, tighten up, please. If this turns into a blowout, oh well.
it's likely to. TCU has been punching above their heads all year. They did
Yeah.
just they just stopped another touchdown. Oh, and by the way, Georgia is on the 15-yard line about the score.
Damn. Damn.
Oh, they're inside. They're at the 10. Never mind. I said 15. And they can get a first down at the 3.
See, bad. You just throwing on bad news. Bad news. Look, in another 10 minutes, you're gonna be like, Georgia just intercepted TCU. Now it's 21-0.
It could
And
go
I'm just
like
gonna
that.
go, all
Now
right.
you're calling it into fact.
Hell yeah. That's how it's gonna probably turn out. Damn Georgia Bulldogs, bleh. But whatever. You guys have your moment. But yes, I'm gonna have to cut it short to you tonight, Johnny. I gotta handle some business, but thank you again for having me on. If Thursday, if we can talk about this, I'm here and I'm ready, and I'll definitely I can't wait to discuss some more football with you guys.
No,
But
I
it was
think we
good,
pretty much covered everything we was going to. That was actually the last of the tracker.
my
So,
man. Thank you. And again, guys, please check the NFL edition out. It's always good, especially on Thursdays. I love it.
all right, bud. Talk to
All
you
right,
later.
you take care of yourself. Have a good evening.
You too. All right, guys. I'm gonna end the show tonight and gonna play this one more time, and then see you later.